Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories for you. First one is from Eritrea viewers. 2 days ago, I did a video on Isas Afwerki's arrival in Saudi Arabia. I said that he received a cold reception. He was received coldly, or you can say that no top Saudi official was there in Riyadh to welcome him. What was the reason? Now we have some details for you. Secondly was Tigray, where a 2-day long conference was held in Mekelle for the formation of interim government. Broader principles have been agreed. Opposition parties boycotted the meeting. Which are broader principles? Sadkan was there too, who criticized this entire ongoing process for formation of interim government. What does Sadkan's participation mean? And thirdly, was Southern Oromia, where we know that protests have been ongoing after Oromia regional government restructured the region and it formed a new East Borana zone comprising 10 districts of Guji, Borana and Bale. Bule Hora University has passed some orders for students. The purpose is to stop ongoing protests in Guji. First viewers, Isas Afwerki, Eritrean president, is back home. 2-day visit of Saudi Arabia has been concluded. Isas Afwerki returned home around 24 hours ago. 2 days ago, when he departed, when he arrived in Saudi Arabia, I said that there was no top Saudi leader to welcome Isas Afwerki on the airport in Riyadh. Now we're starting to understand what happened. Question is, which plane was used by Isas Afwerki for visiting Saudi Arabia? When he returned on board a Saudi airplane. It means Saudi Arabia sent its jet for Isas Afwerki, which took him from Eritrea to Saudi Arabia, and then the same plane brought him back to Eritrea. So when you are using another country's plane for your travel, the type of welcome you received is understandable. Firstly. Secondly, Isaias always criticizes Western powers, US for interference. He's against foreign aid as well. He says that foreign aid leads to exploitation. What is that? Using another country's plane for travel. Does it mean that Eritrean president can talk independently in Saudi Arabia if he flew by Saudi government's plane? Thirdly, no details have been shared so far about this visit. Only Yemeni Gabriel Meskel in a tweet said that bilateral issues were discussed, broad spectrum of bilateral partnership was agreed. That is what we learned from Eritrean Information Ministry. No details of any MOUs, any agreements. We just saw a few pictures. Isas Afwerki had a meeting with Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, and Saudi Foreign Minister was there, Minister of Finance was there, and security officials were there. It means that Eritrean foreign policy is shrouded in mystery. Eritreans don't know what is happening. That is why we criticize. We're not against anyone, any leader, any government, but people have the right to know what was this visit about. Just saying that it was bilateral ties is not enough. But that is how Eritrea is being run. Secondly, viewers, Tigray, where a 2 day long conference has come to a close. The conference was held in Mekelle, Tigray's capital. Purpose was to create consensus for the formation of interim government. Before that conference, a few days ago, Tigray regional government formed a committee led by Tadase Varede. The committee held some consultations and then this 2 day long conference was held. Opposition parties, three parties boycotted the conference. Salsevojene, Baton, and Tigray Independence Party did not participate. Sadkan participated. General Sadkan last week wrote an article. He opposed the ongoing process in Tigray for the formation of interim government. He proposed a more transparent process. And it was clear that there were differences between Sadkan and Sadkan and TPLF regarding how to form the next interim government, how to form interim government for holding of election in Tigray. Sadkan attended. Why did he attend? Though he is not approving the process. He was invited. He's a top man in Tigray. So he thought it appropriate to attend. Otherwise, he has rejected, or you can say he is not supportive of this ongoing process. We cannot say that Sadkan is fully on board, though he was there. Opposition still adamant to its position. It says TPLF's process of formation of interim government is not inclusive, it's not participatory, it's not transparent. A Tigray military officer spoke at this conference, Teklai Ashever, and he was very critical of opposition parties, especially Salsevojene. He almost called Salsevojene as hardliners, that they were not flexible. And he revealed that Ethiopian federal government had communicated to Tigray authorities that Tigray authorities should agree on interim setup. Federal government won't intervene. And after that, federal government will approve or disapprove. So what it means is that federal government maybe shared some names with the Tigray regional government, that these names must not be part of the cabinet of interim government. And I think federal government has shown the green light to Debretsion Gebremichael, that he could be the president, it seems. My point is that federal government, according to Pretoria Agreement, is entitled to be in control of federal institutions in Tigray. It wants to ensure that that fighters are disarmed in Tigray. When it comes to people's democratic right of holding transparent election in Tigray, why is that federal government is at a distance? Why? Only reason is that just like federal government is not giving political space to opposition parties, it wants the same happen. It was the same to happen in Tigray too. Because one player can be tackled easily. TPLF can be tackled easily by federal government now, because TPLF is yet to be removed from terrorist designation. That is why maybe federal government is not intervening, though it should intervene for the holding of transparent election in Tigray. But question is, did the federal government hold a transparent general election? No. That election was boycotted by opposition parties. What happened at the center is happening in Tigray. That is how Ethiopia was run. Opposition was denied political space. EPRDF did that, PP doing the same, Tigray doing the same for years. So, the broader principles which have been agreed in this conference are not noteworthy. They are like Tigrayans' security will be protected, that Pretoria Agreement will be implemented, uh, that international community, federal government should support the efforts for the formation of interim government. Displaced Tigrayans will be brought back to Tigray. Tigray fighters injured, killed, their families, they'll be supported by interim government, etc. etc. Broader principles have been agreed. Nothing concrete set in terms of how much would be the share of TPLF, opposition parties, TDF, though some proposals are being shared. We'll discuss in coming videos. So far, federal government is at a distance. It does not want to be the ongoing process of formation of interim government in Tigray. Thirdly, viewers, southern Oromia, where we know that protests are ongoing against the restructuring of the region. Oromia regional government, Oromia regional parliament have approved restructuring of Oromia region. Several districts have been merged into larger administrative zones. In southern Oromia, East Borana zone has been formed, comprising 10 districts from Guji, Borana and Bale. People of Guji are protesting. Of course, they want to remain separate. They don't want to be part of East Borana zone. Second issue is about Nagale. Nagale is being returned to Borana. A viewer contacted me from Nagale. He said, Sajid, you're not mentioning Nagale. Nagale was part of Borana. But EPRDF, during EPRDF rule, Nagale became part of Guji. Now Nagale is returning to Borana and it is being opposed by people of Guji. Nagale is one of the issues, but I think other parts of Guji will also be part of East Borana zone. This Guji Borana issue is ongoing, and meanwhile, some restrictions have been imposed on students at Bule Hora University in Guji. They have been banned from leaving university campus. All gatherings have been banned. What we saw in terms of gatherings in Guji, there was participation of large number of youth. University students were there at recent protests this week. That is why Bule Hora University has imposed a ban that no one is allowed to leave university. Very interesting. University is not closed. Rather, university is banning the students from leaving university premises. Can this action stop protests? That we'll see. Thank you for watching.